today's lesson is going to be about absolute value. And absolute value means a value's distance from zero. So I've got a couple of examples here. I've got -3 and +3. Both -3 and +3 are 1, 2, 3 units from 0. And -3 is 1, 2, 3 units from 0. So the absolute value of -3 is equal to 3, and the absolute value of 3 is also equal to 3. By the way, those two bars that I wrote, the vertical bars, those are the absolute value symbol. And anything that's inside that symbol is considered a group or a parenthesis. So when you're simplifying, you want to make sure you simplify the inside of those groups first before you simplify the rest. Remember, in order of operations, groups was first. But remember, with absolute value, it is a distance. So it basically changes from a negative to a positive, and if it's already positive, it stays positive because we're talking about a distance. Okay, so here we have example 1. Example 1 is the absolute value of -5 plus 1 plus the absolute value of 2. Now remember, absolute value are considered a group, so we're going to work inside this group first. So we're going to keep our absolute value symbol, and -5 plus 1 is -4. And then we close the absolute value, plus we're going to bring down the absolute value of 2. Now once we did that, we can simplify the absolute value. Absolute value means distance from 0. So the absolute value of -4 is the distance -4 is from 0. Well, -4, if we make a number line, here's 0, -1, -2, -3, and -4. If we count, we have a distance of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is just the number 4. Plus the absolute value of 2, well, that would be a distance of 2 from 0. And now we can go ahead and add these. 4 plus 2 is 6. So the absolute value of -5 plus 1 plus the absolute value of 2 is the number 6. Okay, so here we have example 2. Example 2 is the absolute value of -7 plus 4 minus the absolute value of -11 plus the absolute value of 3. So here we have a group, and we need to simplify the inside of that group first. So we're going to say the absolute value of -7 plus 4 is -3. So we're going to write that. We're going to bring down the minus absolute value of -11. Plus the absolute value of 3. And now we can simplify each of these absolute values. The distance -3 is from 0 is 3. So the absolute value of -3 is just 3. We're going to bring down the minus sign. And now the distance -11 is from 0 is 11 units away from 0. So we're going to bring down 11. And then we're going to bring down the plus sign. And then the absolute value of 3, we've learned that earlier from the beginning of the video, is just 3. So now we can add and subtract from left to right. 3 minus 11 is a -8 plus 3. -8 plus 3 is a -5. So the absolute value of -7 plus 4 minus the absolute value of -11 plus the absolute value of 3 is equal to -5. So now I want to clarify what happens when there is a negative in front of the absolute value. If I have the absolute value of -5, well, that's just going to be 5. If I have the absolute value of +5, that will also be 5. So they're both positive. But if I have the negative absolute value of -5, if we cover up the negative, the absolute value of -5 is indeed 5, but we have a negative in front, so that makes the result negative. Same thing if I have the negative absolute value of positive 5. Covering up the negative, the absolute value of positive 5 is just 5. But then we bring down the negative, making it a negative 5. So when there's a negative in front of the absolute value, it doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative inside the absolute value. The inside of the absolute value will come down as a positive, but then we must bring down the negative, making the overall answer a negative. I hope you enjoyed the lesson on absolute value. If you guys have any questions, please send me a message in Schoology or send me a text. Have a great day.